Good evening to you and to our viewers. In fact, members of the Progress Civics organization are here. They've just handed in their memorandum to the station commander at the Randburg police station. As you can see just behind me, they've got their candles on in support, they say, of Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And if I can just quote what they said in their statement: police corruption and lawlessness is out of hand, and that cannot be tolerated anymore. Enough is enough. There can be no peace between the public and corrupt police officers. Like I said, they just handed in that memorandum to the police officials here, and they're giving them 14 days to respond. But let me bring in my guest, Mr. Mthunzi Luthuli, who's going to tell me more about the purpose of them being here and what was in that memorandum. Dr. Luthuli, thank you so much for joining us on Newsroom Africa. Tell us why we're here and what your memorandum contained, which you just handed in a few minutes ago.
Okay. The reason we're here is multifold. The first reason is that we want police corruption to be dealt with properly. The revelations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi are scathing. They are an indictment on the police service and the whole criminal justice system. So we are saying that as South Africans, we have been aware of some of these things for quite some time now. We have there's lawlessness in the country. There's a drug problem, illegal immigration, all sorts of things. And so we are saying, as South Africans, we are sick and tired. These things must stop. This government needs to start being serious about running this country.
We know that this is not the only Candlelight Vigil that members of your organization are holding. Where else are they holding this significant ceremonies, and what would you like to see the outcome of the memorandum that you submitted be?
Okay. Around Gauteng, there are many police stations where communities have gathered to do the same. To demonstrate their dissatisfaction with the state of affairs within the SAPS, and so in areas such as Joburg South, Mondio, Boysen Police Station, there are communities that are gathered there doing the same Candlelight Vigil. In Soweto, places like Meadowlands, Deep Kloof, in Tshwane, Mamelodi, Garankuwa, and also in Ekurhuleni and Sedibeng. So that's where these night vigils are happening. Just to your last question, the second question, but this is where the vigils are happening.
The president will be addressing the nation on Sunday, to sensitize South Africa in terms of applying her mind as to what decision he will be taking regarding the allegations at this stage that are leveled against some officials in the police force. If you had the ear of the president, what is it that you'd whisper in his ear as to your demands?
What I would say to the president is that, number one, the investigation or a commission or whatever needs to be far-reaching. It needs to go beyond the revelations made by General Mkhwanazi, because we do know that there are lots of other things that are happening within the police force. Number two, I would say, President, take bold, decisive action. You cannot run a lawless country. Lawlessness in the country has a huge negative impact. People don't think about it. It's a huge negative impact. We can't raise children properly. Children are not safe. We are not safe. businesses, investors won't come into a lawless country. Which means that if you don't get investment, then there won't be no jobs created. If there are no jobs, there's unemployment, and we just perpetuate the cycle of poverty. So lawlessness has major economic major impacts on a country, from just pure safety to economic issues. So deal with this lawlessness in a bold way. Make sure that corruption and corrupt officers are rooted out of the SAPS.
Mkhwanazi Luthuli, thank you so much for your time and all the best with your vigil. Mkhwanazi Luthuli was with the Progress Civics Congress. As you heard there, they are appealing to the president to be decisive in that address which he'll be giving to the nation. And as he applies his mind, they say he can expect more of such events ahead of that address on Sunday at 7 o'clock.
Skara, thank you so much for that update.
Imagine a country where the people no longer fear the dark, not because the streets are safer, but because they've decided to light the way themselves. That's exactly what's happening across Gauteng right now, as civic organizations prepare peaceful candlelight vigils outside major police stations, standing in solidarity with KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. This is no ordinary protest. This is a quiet rebellion. A silent but powerful message to those in power: we see you. And we're not afraid to speak up. The spark behind this growing movement: explosive allegations made by Commissioner Mkhwanazi, who has bravely exposed what many South Africans have suspected for years, that political interference has seeped deep into our policing system. That some of our top police officials are not fighting crime, but enabling it. And that the rot is not just on the streets, but within the very leadership meant to protect us. When Mkhwanazi stood up and said enough is enough, he wasn't just risking his job. He was risking his life. Because whistleblowers in this country don't get protection. They get silence. They get sidelined. Sometimes, they get targeted. And that's why these vigils matter. Civic groups, faith leaders, youth activists, and ordinary South Africans from every background are saying, if they go after Mkhwanazi, they go after all of us. The candles they'll be holding aren't just for light. They're for every citizen who has lost their life to crime while the system looked the other way. For every whistleblower who spoke up and was ignored. For every community where police stations are under-resourced while corruption flourishes in boardrooms and backrooms. The vigils will be staged peacefully, but their message will be loud and clear: South Africa is watching. And we're choosing sides, not with the powerful, but with the honest. Not with cover-ups, but with transparency. Not with silence, but with courage. This moment also raises a critical question: what happens next? Will these allegations lead to investigations? Will Parliament act? Will the President respond? Or will we see another whistleblower hung out to dry while officials deny, delay, and deflect? Already, there's growing pressure on the Independent Police Investigative Directorate to step in. There are calls for an urgent parliamentary inquiry. And across social media, hashtags like #SupportMkhwanazi and #TruthMatters are trending, as people from every province join in the call for justice. It's not just about Mkhwanazi anymore. It's about the future of South Africa's justice system. It's about whether we allow our institutions to be hijacked by greed and intimidation, or whether we reclaim them through collective action and civic courage. So if you're in Gauteng and you see a group of people standing outside a police station with candles in their hands and hope in their hearts, don't just drive past. Honk your horn. Join them. Share their message. Because this isn't a fight for one man. It's a stand for an entire nation. A peaceful vigil might seem small in the face of deep corruption. But when the people rise, no government can ignore them forever. Commissioner Mkhwanazi lit the first match by speaking the truth. Now it's our turn to keep the fire burning.